We are back again, Sainers. Saints TV Weekly. Again, thanks to Inglewood Coffee Roasters. Check out their website, www.inglewoodcoffeeroasters.com.au. I got really excited halfway through saying that website. I'm just happy to have them back for another season. Happy to be back for Saints TV Weekly. Discount code STV40. Get 40% off coffee, tea, chai, all the products on their website. So check them out. I know a lot of Sainers are a big fan of Inglewood now and part of the family. So thank you very much for supporting them. And thanks to them for jumping on board for another season of Saints TV. So let's get straight into it. There was a pracky game on the weekend. We got the job done. My match review is out for that. My 5 things we learned is out for that. So check those out if you haven't already. But in short, just to summarize, it was a fairly competitive game, not the most open game, high pressure. Like there was some really good moments in the game. And the standouts were our young boys in Boxall and Travalia kicking a nice goal. McRae fitting in very nicely. Harry Boyd in the ruck. Hasty off halfback. Garcia. There's just so many moments there. Max Hall even just quietly putting his hand up for maybe a little shout for round 1, depending on how we go against Port this weekend. But overall, a really positive performance. No injuries for us. Unfortunately, you hate to see it, but Carlton Jagger Smith with his ACL is horrible news, and you never like that, especially for an up-and-coming young star like him. So yeah, we wish him all the best. But on our side, we kind of got exactly what we wanted out of it. And more answers, if anything, than questions, which is a nice thing, because at this time of year, you kind of want to start seeing those answers. And you know, a week or two before round 1, you got question marks, then, I don't know, you're feeling a bit uneasy. But so far, from what I saw on the weekend, very happy with the performance. The leadership group was announced, and it wasn't a major surprise to see Jack Steele named as captain for the 5th year in a row. I think Jack Sinclair and Cal Wilkie are vice-captains. So Cal's been vice-captain for the last year or two, so he's joined that. And then you've got Dan Butler and Mason Wood, who rounded it out. I think last year we had Seb Ross and we had Rowan Marshall in there. So Rowe is the main absentee this year. I don't know if that's maybe something on his side where he just wants to focus on football. A few people kind of thought maybe that was a weird one. But personally, I don't read too much into the leadership group stuff. If you want to be a leader, you just go out on the footy field or do it on the training track or behind the scenes. You don't need to have the label to lead the way, because you know, you look at Filippo, he's not in the leadership group, he's not captain. To me, he leads the way as a youngster. So it doesn't really matter what the label is as long as you play your role in the team. And these guys, obviously, they're all senior players, they're all really exciting, but hopefully in the next couple of years, we're going to see some of the youngsters get put into these leadership capacities, because they are the future after all. Now for the big news, as the thumbnail suggests, and how much we read into this, maybe not too much to be honest, but this is Saints TV Weekly, right? And this is what we cover. So, big news in the last 24 hours came out that we offered, supposedly, there was a verbal offer. I love that it's a verbal offer. Tom Morris mentions, what is a verbal offer? He intersected a phone call and heard someone throw some numbers out and that was it. It's like saying, I heard someone say this. That's what a verbal offer is in his eyes. It's not like we put a piece of paper to Finn Callaghan and said, sign here, there's 17 mil for you, mate. There's probably an early discussion and maybe things would have changed, but we don't even know what the actual figures are. But we can kind of anticipate that it would have been a lot. I don't know if exactly what, like the deconing thing, I'm not 100% sure that was that type of money, but what Tom Morris said was we offered a 21-year-old about a 10-plus year contract for more than 17 million. That's what he reckons. That's what's been publicised. He has signed. He signed this morning, so it really doesn't matter now. He signed for 4 years. Some people think that he signed, wants to win a flag with the Giants, and then maybe by the end of his new deal now, his 4-year extension, that he might still come back to Melbourne. He'll only be 25, 26 by the time that deal's done. And he knows we've probably got the money to offer him that type of thing. And by then, we might even be contending ourselves. So if he wins a flag with the Giants, does what he needs to do and wants to come back home to Melbourne, to Bayside, where he's from and his family are from, we're still going to be waiting in the wings and he's going to be in the prime of his career. So I personally don't think we've lost out on Finn Callaghan. I think down the line, negotiations or discussions might reignite again. But supposedly, we've offered him a deal. We've offered Zach Merritt the same type of deal, TDK, Brayshaw, LDU, who we don't know yet, but hasn't signed for North and doesn't really look too confident in that at the moment. Same with De Koning. From what he said in his recent interview, it doesn't seem like he's super confident or in a rush to sign that deal. So I kind of find it like some people think it's embarrassing that we're doing this, that it's silly, that look at Ross saying we want to be a serious club and yet we're doing things like this. It's like, what do you want from us? We're not here. The same people complaining about us throwing money around to get guns into the team that are going to make us better are the same people saying, well, Saints aren't doing anything. They're just middle of the road. They're just in no man's land. They're not doing anything. It's like, you got to fire a shot just to see what happens. Like, we're in that position now. We have money. We do. We have a war chest. There is plenty of money there. We've got a young list, so there's not a lot of players there on huge money. Yes, we want to sign Nasai Wanganeen-Malira. Mitch Owens will re-sign soon. We've got King on a big contract. But outside of those players, we don't have anyone demanding ridiculous money. So we have money to go, and why not knock on every door? It's the same thing with like starting a business. You're going to go door knocking and go, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? Maybe 99 people will say no. There might be one that says yes, and that's the one that changes things for you. So I don't mind that we're doing this. I think we can't take the amount as fact. But what we can take as fact is that St Kilda want to be ambitious. They want to be assertive in this space. And we do have money to offer players that will make the club better. And we're not offering this... Like, who wouldn't be happy with Finn Callaghan? Who wouldn't be happy with TDK? I'd be stoked to get any of them. LDU, I'd take them in a heartbeat. I just don't know how much we can read into the funds, but what I would say is, yes, of course we're going to be paying overs to be getting these players because that's the position that we're in. You can't be paying exactly what they're worth or unders when you're a club like St Kilda that haven't had the success and haven't got the runs on the board like other clubs. We're going to have to be pushing the limit a little bit, and if we can do that and keep the youth that we've got and continue to blood players and go to the draft and maybe win a few games this season and surprise, make a final and build on from that, that's when the momentum starts moving for you. So I don't mind this strategy. I would much rather this than have players like these guys just float around and St Kilda not even look at them. You know, I think it shows a level of ambition for me. I don't care if people think that it's silly. I'm glad that my club is knocking on the doors, and yeah, you get rejected. That's fine. You don't need to sit around and cry about it. You just move on and you go for the next player. But it could be a ploy. It could be a ploy by the Giants agency that leaked this story and wanted to get Finn. Like, Finn's probably getting an extra 100, 200K now because of what we offered. So we're clearly blowing out every other club's salary cap because we're offering so much. And maybe our real targets are players that we haven't even thought of yet. But I still think TDK and LDU are the primary ones. And guess what? They're the ones that haven't signed yet. So let's wait and see what happens. This weekend, in the more immediate term, we've got Port Adelaide in our final practice game, RSEA Park, the 1st of March, 3:10 p.m. This is going to be a good game. It's going to be a test. They're just a bogey team, regardless of where we play them, when we play them, in what capacity, whether it's pracky or not. They're just a tricky opponent for us, and we just can't seem to beat them. So I think this is the perfect sort of warm-up for round one. I think both teams will field pretty strong teams, you'd think, with only pretty much their final game before the real stuff begins. Port played Adelaide last weekend and lost, but they kicked 99 points, and it was a pretty decent game of football. Adelaide beat them, but Port looked pretty good, so that's going to be a good test for us, and to see if the players like Boxshall, Hall, Boyd, these players can back it up, and if they do, that just adds to the headache for Ross Lyon and the coaching staff on selection, and I don't imagine any of the players that missed this week will play this weekend. I think maybe Travalia will get a full match. He only played the last quarter against Carlton, and then he didn't play the VFL, so he's only played the one quarter, really. So I'd imagine we'll probably give him a few more minutes in this game and test that endurance and see how he goes against a seasoned team like Port. So get down, RSA Park, Saturday, 3:10 p.m. I'll be there. It's going to be super exciting. Our final practice match until the real stuff begins on March 16th. And that reminds me, Sainers tipping. Saints TV tipping competition. Go to the website www.saintstv.com.au. There's a button on the homepage. Sign up to the tipping, $15 buy-in. There will be weekly prizes, a grand prize of a Guernsey or cash as well. which is going to be awesome. Hopefully it's the biggest one we've done. A couple weeks to go. So if you want to join, test your tipping skills against other seiners, be my guest, jump on the website. I'll make sure to put a link in the comments as well, make it much easier for you guys to sign up. So I sucked at it last year, so fingers crossed I can actually do something pretty decent in the tipping this year. So that's it, Sainers. That's Saints TV Weekly. In February 24, it was a big one. There's a lot of news, and hopefully there's going to be plenty more news coming in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully good news, that is. So thanks again, Sainers. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks to Inglewood Coffee Roasters as well for sponsoring this video. And I'll see you in the next one, Sainers. Take care, and as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.